In order to finish up my degree, I'm taking 2 courses at a four-year university, which I think are going to have a huge impact on how I work on theory development. One of them is Communication Research Methods. It's COM 3311. Here's the syllabus. And the other one is Conflict Management. And I was told by my professor it's probably one of the most useful courses anybody could take. It's COM, which is COM 4462. And I'm already learning a lot about how people do business just by having experienced things online and forums and actually talking to people and how they deal with the issues being presented. A lot of the ideas that I have are very different than what establishment accepts. And I'm looking at this book right here, and I'm going to go ahead and read it to you, but oh man, it's so true. I can't believe it. It's like, wow. This is out of the Basics of Social Research by Earl Babby on page 5. Tradition. Each of us inherits a culture made up in part of firmly accepted knowledge about the workings of the world and the values that guide our participation in it. We may learn from others that eating too much candy will decay our teeth, that the circumference of a circle is approximately 22/7 of a diameter. Ideas about gender, race, religion, and different nations that you learned as you were growing up would fit in this category. We may test a few of these truths on our own, but we simply accept the great majority of them, the things that everybody knows. Tradition, in the sense of the term, offers some clear advantages to human inquiry. By accepting what everybody knows, we avoid the overwhelming task of starting from scratch in our search for regularities and understanding. Knowledge is cumulative, and an inherited body of knowledge is the jumping off point for developing more of it. We often speak of standing on the shoulders of giants, that is, starting with the knowledge base of previous generations. At the same time, tradition may be detrimental to human inquiry. If we seek a fresh understanding of something that somebody or that everybody already understands and has always understood, we may be marked as fools for our efforts. More to the point, however, most of us rarely think of seeking a different understanding of something we all know to be true. And that rings a bell big time with what I'm working on. All the scientists, they accept the fusion model based off of an agreement reality that's previously in this book and via tradition. And what further exacerbates the issue is this. Authority. Despite the power of tradition, new knowledge appears every day. Aside from our personal inquiries, we benefit throughout life from new discoveries and understandings produced by others. Often, acceptance of these new acquisitions depends on the status of the discoverer. You're more likely to believe an epidemiologist who declares that common cold can be transmitted through kissing, for example, than to believe your Uncle Pete saying the same thing. Like tradition, authority can both assist and hinder human inquiry. It can limit human inquiry. Authority and tradition both can limit it. We do well to trust the judgment of the person who has special training, expertise, and credentials in a given matter, especially in the face of controversy. At the same time, inquiry can be greatly hindered by legitimate authority who errs within his or own special province. Biologists, after all, do make mistakes in the field of biology. Both tradition and authority, then, are double-edged swords in the search for knowledge about the world. Simply put, they provide us with a starting point for our own inquiry, but they can lead us to start at the wrong point and push us off in the wrong direction. This guy's pretty smart. This Earl Babby guy, I think there's a picture of him in here. He's looks like a pretty smart dude. It's the same thing I've been learning. When you have accepted authority and tradition ruling the sciences, and yes, tradition and authority rules the sciences, you have to acknowledge that it's a double-edged sword. You can't just expect things to be working out perfectly just because This is how we've always done things, and you can't expect things to work out because some supposed expert would have seen this already or would have noticed something of this magnitude, such as Earth being a giant differentiated ball of rocky metal matter that is floating in outer space. How does something like this form? From gravity alone? No, it takes something as large as a star to form something like this. That being said, to conflict with what everybody already knows to be true is to make yourself look like a fool. So in their eyes, I will always be labeled a crank, a crackpot, or a fool. Unfortunately, to me, they're the cranks, the crackpots, and the fools. Today is January 25th, 2016. Everybody, take it easy.